This is the story of Noor, an ex-Muslim who dropped a video 4 years ago explaining why she left the religion of peace. It had something to do with her upbringing, which I can only describe as North Korea meets the 7th century Arabia, but enacted in Canada.
I was raised in a Shia Muslim family. My dad is a Shia Sayyid Muslim, meaning that his descendants reach back to one of the 12 Imams that we believe in, specifically Ja'far al-Sadiq. Hence why my last name is Jaffrey, because we're like descended from the Jaffreys.
Yes, she's a Joffrey, but no, not the blonde sociopath from Game of Thrones, though the vibe is totally dissimilar as we are about to see. But she's a direct descendant of Ja'far al-Sadiq. And for those who aren't deep into Islamic law, Ja'far al-Sadiq is a big deal. He's the 6th infallible Imam of 12 Shias, the sect of mullahs running the fun house in Iran right now. He's the great-great-grandson of Muhammad himself. He's the founder of the Jafari school, the teacher of the founder of the Hanafi and Maliki schools. He's the teacher of teachers.
Being that we are of such high status, I'm gonna quote Peter Parker's grandfather, I think, who said, "With great power comes great responsibility."
Given what we see in Iran, where the responsibility for showing a millimeter of hair is getting beaten to death in a van, now imagine the pressure on Noor.
I was homeschooled until about the age of 7, meaning that any information that was given to me was either given to me by my parents or by textbooks, and I didn't know any other way of living. Furthermore, my dad wasn't fond of TV or movies, so I didn't have exposure to anything or to much outside of my family.
Yes, no TV, no outside world, just Grandpa Joffrey's theology on a loop. You take a child, isolate them from reality, and replace Sesame Street with the eternal torment of the grave. That's super healthy. Last time we covered a Turkish guy raised in Australia who basically grew up in a caliphate in his living room.
My surrounding was Muslim, my neighbor was Muslim, my doctor was Muslim, my butcher was Muslim, so my whole identity and my surrounding was just Muslim.
Additionally, because my dad felt such strong ties to his Arab roots, he attempted to immerse me in Arab or Islamic culture as well. I remember days of crying while trying to learn Arabic and trying to read it with a proper enunciation, which took a toll on me because no one in my family knew how to speak Arabic, especially not fluently. So it was a lot harder for me to try to understand what they're trying to teach me.
So get this, Noor's dad isn't from the West and he's obsessed with his Arab roots. So naturally, he moved his family to Canada.
After 9/11, my father was fired from his job, but not because of 9/11, but because he didn't have a green card or he was having some visa issues. So he was ultimately let go because he is not from America or Canada, he is from India. And we moved to Canada, which is where I was born. So we were in Canada before, and then they moved to America. But after he was let go, we came back to Canada.
Not Riyadh or Abu Dhabi, no, Canada. That's the best place to raise a child on proper Arabic. I mean, that's going to come in handy when Canada finally becomes an Islamic caliphate. This is why you have entire neighborhoods in Western cities that feel less like multicultural integration and more like a Sharia ghetto.
One day we can have a Muslim majority nation here in Canada, right in your face.
Once we moved back to Canada, I was enlisted along with my sister Ain, Sayeda, and my brother Ali into al-Sadiq, which was my first real experience of school. However, this was not a typical school. It was an expensive, private Islamic school.
This is the beauty of Western multiculturalism, folks. A family moves to Canada and ensures their children never ever have to speak to a Canadian. They live in a bubble, go to school in a bubble, and socialize in a bubble. They aren't living in the West. They are living in a simulation of 7th century Arabia with better plumbing. And then we wonder why second-generation immigrants in the West are suddenly tweeting in support of child marriage and blasphemy laws.
Capital punishment in Islamic law would be applied to you. We have no doubt, and we're proud of that. Yeah?
Past the age of 9, Islamically speaking, you are now a woman who must cover up. and show explicit modesty, because this is now an obligation that is mandatory upon you.
Most 9-year-olds are worried about whether they will get a robust gift card, but Noor is worried about being a temptress. And this isn't just some fringe internet Muslim idea. Ruhollah Khomeini, the kickstarter of the Iranian Revolution, wrote in his commentary that intercourse is not allowed unless the girl attains the age of 9. But why 9? Well, according to Al-Kafi, a Shia Hadith collection, Ismail ibn Jafar, a relative of Noor's father, said, "The Messenger of Allah went to bed with Aisha when she was 9 years old, and it is not permissible to go to bed with a girl unless she is a woman. Yes, if a 53-year-old Muhammad can sleep with a 9-year-old, then a 9-year-old must be a woman. After all, didn't Allah call him the excellent example for all believers?"
I remember one day, I was about 9 or 10, a woman. We were going out somewhere as a family. I was wearing my, obligatory, mandatory hijab, a long kurti, fully covered, everything head to toe covered. And as I was getting ready to get into the minivan on our family excursion, much like a security guard would stop you if they saw something wrong, my dad said, "You, go change." I'm like, "Why?" He said, "I can see your bosoms," which was his way of saying bosom, which was his way of saying breasts.
Imagine being a father, looking at your 9-year-old daughter who is wearing a black bean bag, and you squint your eyes and go, I think I detect the slightest hint of biological form. Go change, harlot."
He full out quoted the Quran to me and say to the believing woman that they should lower their gaze and guard their modesty, that they should not display their beauty and ornaments except what must ordinarily appear thereof, that they should draw their veils over their bosoms and not display their beauty except to their husbands. Imagine hearing that as a 9-year-old.
That's an actual Quran verse. He wasn't making it up. And that's what the Quran is good for, teaching fathers to sexualize their prepubescent daughters.
Wearing a hijab so I don't go to hell, so I don't get pulled by my hair in the afterlife and burned and brought to life, burned and brought to life, burned and brought to life, in an endless cycle, which is what he told me would happen if I don't wear a hijab.
That is also from the Quran, 456. Those who disbelieve in our verses, we will drive them into a fire. Every time their skins are roasted through, we will replace them with other skins so they can taste the punishment. Here's another one. Quran 14:17 says about those in hell, "And death will come to him from everywhere, but he is not to die." And let's not forget Sahih Bukhari 64:49, where Muhammad takes a peek into hell and notices, hey, it's mostly women down here. This is the message Noor grew up with. You are a woman at 9, your dad is staring at your chest for Allah, and if you sleep up, eternal skin barbecue.
And I realized that I have to leave Islam to find my freedom, to find acceptance, and to find love.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why the first victims of Islam aren't the infidels. They are the Muslim women. They are taught to hate themselves before even learning long division. Noor got out. She broke the holy lineage, and frankly, good for her. If only a so-called Imam of peace could have enough good sense to do the same.
This is mine. My ancestors are the companions of the Prophet. My DNA is as old as this religion. Suggesting that I leave, it's mine. Why would I let go of it? Khamenei needs to leave the religion, not me. That turban curses him, and my turban is honored that I am wearing it. That's the difference.
Sir, you are not honoring your Arab roots by being a slave to the ideas of a low IQ conman who duped your ancestors. But the ones I can't stand are the so-called feminists for Islam.
Excuse me, Islam to me is the most feminist religion.
And here's my response to one of these ridiculous takes in this video right here. You should check it out.